This video is brought to you by
Cool green clothing coming straight up out of that DMV. You know what it is. This that Baltimore designer right here. Come on now, come and show some love and show some support. Go online right now, coolgreenclothing.com, and make your purchase. Oh yeah, by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way, and that's just basic.
What's going on, YouTube, fam? This your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For the day one, fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, definitely share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. Let's get right into the story. In certain environments, people have mixed feelings about police. We all know their goal is supposed to be to protect and serve the community. But just like with anything in life, you have the good and the bad. If you come from a place that the community and its police are at odds, it's definitely a reason behind that. I know in my city of Baltimore, Maryland, it has always been underlying issues with the way police carry it with the citizens. Of course, you have cases that made national headlines, like Freddie Gray, Corinne Gaines, and the Gun Trace Task Force, and a lot of other issues with cover-ups and corruption. I have even covered stories of police using minors to trap for them. So of course, some look at law enforcement with a side eye, because sometimes the people behind the badge have more demons and issues than the so-called criminals they are locking up. But then you also have the other side of law enforcement, the police that sign up and really want to help the community. They love what they do, don't abuse their position or go on any kind of power trip. All over the world right now, it seems people are choosing to crash out left and right for whatever reasons. Sometimes the situation is so wild or brazen, it makes you think it has to be a deeper issue behind the hit. And when someone goes all out to hit multiple people in the same night, it definitely seems like a paid hit or something in them just snapped. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we'll be discussing the case of a Baltimore City police officer that was ambushed while on duty and another man that was hit just a few hours later. Back in 2019, Keona Holley was a mother of 4, hard worker, caring, and loving individual. Keona was in the middle of making changes in her life, a big career step from a nursing assistant to train to be a Baltimore City police officer, which was her dream job. She wanted to help and try to make a difference in the community. Her dream would come true that year, and she would become Officer Keona Holley. For 2 years, she patrolled the Baltimore streets, dealt with the people of the city in which she loved, and took her position with pride. Now in 2021, Baltimore had been through its fair share of issues, especially with the police, and a lot of people pointing out corruption. The force was hit like many other police forces across the country. A lot of incidents were happening between people with badges and citizens. Some seemed unjustified, and bluntly put, others seemed like cold-blooded hits. So officers like Keona had to be front line and even work different areas and extra shifts because of the shortage of police and funding. But she was up for the challenge. In another part of the city was a 38-year-old man named Justin Johnson, a hard-working family man with 5 kids, just trying to go to work every day and navigate the Baltimore streets. Justin came from a big loving family. He wanted the best for everyone around him and made sure he put his kids and family first. I know you probably thinking to yourself, why did we jump from a police officer to a working family man? We're going to get right into it. On December 16th, 2021, Keona decided she would pick up some extra hours. It was right before Christmas, and she could use the overtime. She was patrolling a busy area of Curtis Bay with a lot of bars and restaurants. It was on the late night, early morning hours. She sat parked up in her patrol car, making sure everything was okay. About 1:20 a.m., a car pulled up on the same block and parked. Keona paid it no mind since it was a busy street, but a few minutes later, someone crept out the whip and walked down on Officer Holley, coming from her blind spot. She didn't see them before multiple shots went off, and the shooter fled back to the vehicle. Hit in the head and body, the officer tried to gain enough strength to drive off, but quickly the car came to a stop. BPD got a call about a car accident, but when police responded, they realized it wasn't an accident at all, and one of their own had been shot and was fighting for her life. The responding officer was in shock after realizing it was Keona, the same woman he trained to become part of the force. A concerned citizen rushed over and held Keona's hand while police called for EMT and backup, telling her to hold on as the lady was breathing faintly. When paramedics arrived, they quickly rushed Keona to the University of Maryland shock trauma. Back on the scene, it was multiple shell casings from one gun, a broken fence in which the patrol car hit as Keona tried to get away. It seemed she wasn't even able to reach for her service weapon. But the morning would get wilder. About an hour and a half later, and 11 miles away, Justin was sitting in his car in the 600 block of Lucia Avenue. When a car slid up the block, not paying any attention, seconds later, someone exited the vehicle and ambushed the man, shooting in his car, striking him multiple times. The shooter then ran back to the getaway vehicle and fled the scene. Witnesses and neighbors quickly called BPD, and they responded to find Justin suffering from multiple gunshot wounds, and unfortunately, he would pass away at the scene. It seemed the shootings of Keona and Justin were done in the same manner, targeted and ambushed. Police took to the streets and hospital the following morning to check on the condition of Keona and to see if anyone had any information on the incident. Keona was fighting, but was on life support as her sister and family members poured in wanting answers of who would target the police in a patrol car, especially her sister, who only wanted the best for the city. While Officer Holley's family still had hope, Justin's family was devastated and confused. Why would anyone want to take his life when all he ever wanted was to be a good man, father, and stay above being a statistic? Keona's story would make national headlines. People were in shock. Someone would be so bold to target a on-duty police. Keona fought hard to pull through, but unfortunately, just 1 week after the incident, her family made the tough decision to take the young lady off of life support. Now that a police officer had passed away, this took the case to a whole nother level. A big reward was offered for any information leading to her arrest, and the outcry of support poured in for Keona and her family. Multiple memorial services were held in her honor, and as she was laid to rest, fellow officers and citizens of the city showed up to show their love and support. BPD were trying to understand what took place the night of the incident, so they pulled footage from city cameras. They focused in on a vehicle that was seen in the area when Keona was hit. The same car seemed to be spotted after Justin was shot as well. They zoomed in on the tags and ran them. The vehicle would come back registered to a 31-year-old man named Elliot Knox. Police quickly went to speak to Elliot. At first, the man denied being anywhere near the scene, but as BPD revealed, they had actual footage of Officer Holley's ambush and they fled in his vehicle. He quickly stated he wasn't the shooter and pointed to another man, 32-year-old Trayvon Shaw. Elliot claimed Trayvon shot Keona, then drove 11 miles away and shot Justin. He even provided an address where the gun that was used was at. Police went to a home in Baltimore County and retrieved the firearm, and after testing it, the weapon did come back as the one used to take Keona's life. Elliot was taken into custody, charged with 2 counts of first-degree hit, conspiracy to commit a hit, and other charges. Not long after, Trayvon was also picked up, charged with the same charges. They both were held without bail. Elliot never stated a reason why Keona was targeted, but he did offer information about Justin. He claimed Trayvon told him they was going to holler at Justin about some money he owed him, but he claimed Trayvon instead pulled up and just shot the car up. Elliott requested to go on PC or protective custody after talking to police, but Trayvon decided not to speak. It was still more questions than answers on why would the two men decide one night to just go on 2 hits and one being the police. Once Justin's family heard Trayvon was one of the men responsible for taking his life, they were confused. They stated the two men were very close and often hung out. The alleged debt was said to be $100. As Keona's sister and family spoke out, they demanded answers and justice for the police officer, they said, who dedicated her life to the city and just wanted a change. Many donations poured in for her kids, but Justin's family felt his death was being overshadowed because of the loss of Keona, stating his life mattered also. Fast forward to this year, the case started making its way to trial. Trayvon first, as both men were tried separately. In his first trial, it was only for Justin. As witnesses testified that the men did in fact know each other, Trayvon's lawyer pointed to the fact he was just going to ask Justin about his money owed, but Elliott jumped out the car shooting. Trayvon was found guilty of the slaying of Justin in October and goes back to trial for sentencing, also for the slaying of Officer Holley later this month. He faces life with no parole. Elliott's trial was different. He would have one court date for all charges. His lawyer pointed to the fact he confessed, even told police where the gun was at, telling the court Elliott should only be guilty of accessory after the fact. But the state said they had evidence Elliott was with the whole play. They claimed Trayvon was the trigger man on Keona, but later that night, they both shot Justin. In the end, Elliott was found guilty on all charges for both the hit on Justin and Keona. His sentencing is set for a later date. He also faces life without the possibility of parole. Keona's family respected the outcome, but feels it's more to the story, and they say they want everybody responsible brought to justice, since no motive never came up on why two men just targeted a police officer. As of now, no one still knows why Officer Keona Holley was ambushed. Rest in peace to Justin and Keona. I send my deepest prayers and condolences to both families and both individuals' kids. This was a crazy and mysterious situation, and some feel like it could have been a paid hit or something deeper. But now, two families have to suffer. I'm going to leave this one open for discussion. It was stated Justin was hit over money, but why do y'all think Keona was hit? How did Elliott and Trayvon know she would be right there at that exact time? They even knew Justin would be in his whip at 3 in the morning. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Yeah, man, crazy situation. There was a lot going on when this story first happened. I remember they were saying she locked them up or she locked up somebody they knew, but the whole story changed. But like I said, I'm going to leave this one open to y'all. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. This is another episode of the Baltimore Way. This your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.